I've been seeing a ton of leftists share the same message in celebration of Charlie Kirk's assassination, and that message is no one mourns the wicked. It's actually a reference to the Wicked movie musical that came out recently, which just goes to show how much they're trying to trivialize his death. And when I tell you I've seen this message everywhere, I've seen it everywhere. So much so that the song No One Mourns the Wicked from this movie has actually seen a massive uptick in streams, meaning leftists are streaming this and dancing around their room, essentially celebrating his death. Now, this is an attempt, as I said, to trivialize his death, but I am not going to be trivializing this. I take this very seriously, and these individuals don't even recognize how dead wrong they are in sharing this song. It is actually a massive cell phone, of great proportions, and today we're going to unpack it because I have the time. Now, this musical was actually based off of a book written by Gregory Maguire, and we're going to analyze his internal motivation for creating the storyline. We're going to analyze the lyrics of No One Mourns the Wicked, because you guys do not know what you're posting when you say that. Now, unfortunately, I cannot show you the Ariana Grande version of this song because I don't want to get a copyright strike, but I will show you Kristen Chenoweth, who the left is very mad at right now for saying Charlie Kirk is going to be in heaven. Weird thing to be mad about. Very strange. But she originated the role of Glinda, who sings the song No One Mourns the Wicked. Now, No One Mourns the Wicked is not a policy prescription to how you react to death. It is actually telling you to look inside at your own wickedness. Now, we're going to go through the performance. I'll play the first part, and I've actually put together some parallels. And when you read the lyrics, you'll understand why those parallels exist. And it is insane how many parallels between the Wicked movie musical story exist in this modern day reaction to Charlie Kirk losing his life, being assassinated. So let's start the performance. So you're watching an entire town, now Munchkin Land, which seems sort of trivial, but allow me to compare it to the world we're in right now. People are celebrating the death. They're coming out and saying, good news, the wickedest of all witches is dead. Now, I actually pulled this screenshot from the movie. You can see posters in the background of people saying things about the Wicked Witch of the West. And I'm going to show you a t-shirt made of Charlie Kirk, and it should shock you, okay? Look at these two posters, drawings side by side, and tell me what you see. Now, what the left is not realizing right now is No One Mourns the Wicked is not a prescription to create these posters and these drawings. It's actually telling you to analyze yourself, analyze your views of wickedness, and maybe reframe what you think is wicked before you do something heinous like this. Now, we're going to move on into the performance, and we're going to meet Glinda, the Good Witch, which you'll see this black and white distinction between good and bad, between dark and light. We have the evil Wicked Witch of the West, and we have Glinda, the Good Witch, as if it's really that simple to see the morality in somebody and their values. Now let's hear from Glinda. Now, Glinda comes in with this angelic voice because she's so good. She is so above it all. And you'll see that she's pink and Elphaba is green. Now, I'm going to go crazy on y'all. Okay, I'm going to pull up a color wheel, and you'll see that pink and green are on opposing sides, which is what we are taught about Glinda, the Good, and the Wicked Witch of the West. Now, you'll actually find that green and pink are complementary colors, which we discover later on in the story, that Glinda and Elphaba have a long history of being friends, of working in tandem, of coexisting with one another, just like we had in this country before all hell broke loose. And now we act as though we are on completely opposing sides, so much so that we celebrate the death of an individual in the streets because we hate the things that they believe. So if you are a leftist who is celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk online and sharing No One Mourns the Wicked, you are in fact not even Glinda. You are one of the munchkins in Munchkin Land celebrating the death of the Wicked Witch of the West, and you are being manipulated by Glinda. And in the real world example, that could be leftism, that could be the news, that could be your favorite influencer or celebrity, it could be the government itself, which is puppeteering Glinda throughout this film, and that's what we find out. But you are not the right person here. You're actually celebrating for all the wrong reasons, and you'll come to find that the person that you are villainizing is not the villain you've made them out to be after all. Now, I want to really look at this paragraph of lyrics specifically to look at the chosen language, the chosen verbiage that is used to describe the state that Oz is now in, now that the wicked witch is dead and good has conquered evil. Now, Glinda says, rejoicify, that goodness could subdue. Subdue is a very aggressive bit of language here, but goodness has done this, apparently. Now, she goes on to say, isn't it nice to know that good will conquer evil? So we have subduing and conquering, which is actually the work of an authoritarian, totalitarian government or regime that is masquerading as goodness. And there's one word in particular that really drives this through, and it's when she asks, isn't it nice to know? Why doesn't she say, isn't it good to know? Isn't it great to know? And when we really dive into the language of niceness versus goodness, you're going to find two very distinct ways of leading a life. When you are nice, niceness is associated with pleasantries, social behavior, working in tandem, adhering to social norms in order to create a pleasant environment. It's a very superficial, agreeable state of being. When you talk about somebody and go, she's so nice, she comes off as happy, agreeable, pleasant for the sake of creating a nice environment. These are shallow beliefs about the way one should act, and quite frankly, all about behavior, typically. So she says, isn't it nice to know? Well, of course, it's nice to think that your beliefs have conquered everything. So now that we've established that niceness is about social behavior, pleasantries, trying to make everybody feel good, which political ideology do you feel is most associated with niceness? Who's trying to push things like diversity, equity, and inclusion to make sure everyone's represented, everybody's equal, everybody feels included? Who's trying to police language, censor words, deplatform people for the sake of niceness and making people feel better? Who's giving out participation trophies, even if there's a clear winner and a loser? Who is shooting political figures because they're full of hate in an attempt to make the world more nice? Now let's compare the word nice with the word good. Good is actually a deeper state of being. It sort of coincides with a deeper moral compass, with principles that are guiding you. And while nice is a very short-term state that is concerned with pleasantry, goodness is a very long-term state that is concerned with principle. And we will often find ourselves in very uncomfortable positions for the sake of maintaining our goodness, meaning we are driven internally by our principles, ethics, and morals, rather than the social state of the world or what the social norms are. And very quickly, just to drive this nice versus good idea home, I'm going to step outside of the world of Wicked and into the mind of another creator of musicals, composer, Stephen Sondheim. He's there. Love Stephen Sondheim. This book right here is about Into the Woods, and Into the Woods grapples with this idea of what it means to be nice and what it means to be good. And I'll read you a couple of lyrics here. Now, one of the characters in this musical goes through a really tough time where she is seduced by niceness and ends up in a terrible situation and is attacked. Now, she survives that attack. And as a young girl, she realizes that she knows things now. She's learned from this experience. And one of the main things that she's experienced is, quote, that nice is different than good. So we can be seduced by niceness, or this idea of being nice, which is honestly attached to a social drive that we have to be liked. And when we want to be liked, we have to sacrifice principles, sacrifice integrity in order to maintain a social structure, which is why nice is different than good. Now, our next quote actually coincidentally comes from the supposed wicked witch in Into the Woods. Now, by the end of the musical, spoiler alert, we learn that she is not so wicked. She's had her own experiences that reinforce her bad behavior, but she's also quite wise, and she sees in people when they're actually good versus when they're just nice. And she's looking at this mess of a plot of characters who are all just digging at each other and blaming each other and saying, it's your fault, it's your fault, it's your fault, which is exactly what we're doing right now. And she shuts them up and says, quote, you're so nice. You're not good. You're not bad. You're just nice. And she's disgusted by it. This idea that you are so consumed with niceties that you don't even know your own moral standings. You don't know what your principles are. You are just concerned with niceness. And sometimes niceness is not the most important thing after all. So it's very interesting that Glinda says, isn't it nice to know? Isn't it this fleeting feeling to know that good will conquer evil? Does goodness need to conquer? Did Charlie Kirk need to be assassinated for the sake of good? Can good be achieved through evil, through conquering, through subduing? Now she goes on to say, the truth that we all believe'll by and by outlive a lie for you and. Okay, so she's saying the truth that we all believe is going to outlive any single lie that anybody shares. Now, this is a very interesting choice of words. Let's talk about truth. Truth is objective. It exists outside of ourselves. It is not something that is maintained by faith or belief. It's not something you have to take a leap to agree with or to accept. It simply exists on its own. Okay? If we say the sky is blue, but you believe the sky is pink, the truth exists outside of my dictation that the sky is blue and your belief that it is pink. The sky is blue. It's objective. Okay, so she says the truth that we all believe. Can you believe a truth? So she's actually accidentally displaying that she is a propagandist by saying the truth that we all believe. Truth does not need to be believed by all, and it actually insinuates that we are in fact not in line with truth, that we have been told a lie and we've chosen to accept it. She goes on to say that the truth that we all believe will outlive a lie. So it's not that it's going to disprove a lie or find that the lie is false. It's not that it's going to expose the lie. It's going to outlive the lie. So we've killed Elphaba. We've killed Charlie Kirk. And it's not about whether or not what they were saying is a lie or whether or not it was true. It's the fact that we've outlived them. So whatever they're saying cannot be carried with them anymore. So Glinda, the propaganda machine, is saying outlive a lie to make everybody feel better, but really what she means is we're outliving the truth. We've covered up the truth. In fact, we've dumped a bucket of water on it, and now it is deceased. And another way in which you can outlive the truth or cover it up is by saying a lie enough times into the world that it becomes truth. Now I'm going to show you a clip here, and you see if it bears any resemblance to the story we've told so far.
Our greatest responsibility is to serve our
Treasure Valley communities,
the El Paso, Las Cruces communities,
Eastern Iowa communities,
Mid-Michigan communities.
We are extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But we are concerned about the trouble and trend of irresponsible, one-sided news stories plaguing our country.
the sharing of biased and
False news has become all too common on social media.
More alarming, some media outlets publish things that simply aren't true without checking facts first.
Unfortunately, some members of the media use their platforms to push their own personal bias and agenda to control exactly what people think. And this is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
Now next we have this bit.
No one mourns the wicked. No one cries, they won't return. No one lays a lily on their grave. But that scorns the wicked.
So of course you can see the parallel there. A young kid just desecrated the memorial of Charlie Kirk with this idea that no one lays a lily at their grave, even if actual individuals do come to lay down posters and pictures and flowers and teddy bears. Apparently no one is to lay a lily at the grave. And this is shockingly not the only example we have of this. A young girl at UNC just painted over the memorial rock that was created for Charlie Kirk, and now the left put a bunch of BLM messages on it. Absolutely insane. And back to the song. This next part's very interesting.
Through their lives our children learn what we misbehave.
So through the lives of wicked people, our children learn what we miss when we misbehave. So misbehave, interestingly enough. What did we say about niceness? Niceness is not about an internal compass, an internal locus of control. It is about behavior, which is very different from morals, values, ethics. So they're saying children learn what happens to them and what they will miss in this world when they misbehave. And they learn this through the lives of the wicked or the lack thereof. Now, I'm going to show you a clip that is absolutely insane of children who have apparently learned what wickedness looks like.
I have the best news ever.
What? Donald Trump died?
Second best news.
The vice president died?
Okay, third best news.
That Elon Musk died?
Okay, no. Nobody died. My best friend's getting married.
And I could go through more of the lyrics of this song, No One Mourns the Wicked, but I think I've gotten through the bulk of it. And just to sort of summarize what this song is actually about, again, it is not a prescription to not mourn the lives of the wicked. It is a propaganda piece. It is sung by Glinda the Good Witch, who we learn is really not the Good Witch after all, who has worked with the government, chosen her own convenience, her own authority, her own status over that of her friend, over that of what is good. She's chosen to work with the oppressor, for what the left likes to say and how they like to put that in their framework. And she has sacrificed integrity for her position. So all these people coming together to sing, no one mourns the wicked, no one mourns the wicked, and they're sharing the memes and they're sharing the lyrics, or the people of Oz and Munchkinland who are singing and dancing at the idea of the Wicked Witch being dead. First of all, they are doing this at the idea of a stranger. None of these people know the Wicked Witch, except for Glinda the Good Witch, and she knows the goodness that was seen in Elphaba, in her experience with her. So you're watching a ton of strangers come together to say no one mourns the wicked. And you got to ask yourself, why are they doing this? And it's because they get a sense of moral superiority out of it. They are on their high horse. They are on better ground. They are doing what's right. And we can draw this clear-cut view of what is good and what is bad because it's easier for us to process as human beings or munchkins. And as long as they know we're the good ones. Okay, I know what's good, I know what's bad, and I know for sure that I'm good. And you'll see this sort of moral superiority speak on the left often. They are the good people. They are the ones with strong morals and values. And the people on the right are Nazis, white nationalists, fascists, totalitarian, homophobes, transphobes, racists. You insert any phobia or ism and you pretty much have them down pat. Now, so much so that this is a TikTok that popped up on my For You page just yesterday. Let's watch.
I think everyone should have what they need. I'm literally a Nazi. Wow, there's some pretty extreme rhetoric on both sides.
Okay, so there you have it. A very clear Glinda the Good Witch and Elphaba the Wicked Witch of the West. The story could not be more perfect for showing what is wrong with modern day politics, what's wrong with modern day leftism. So now that we've gone through No One Mourns the Wicked and shown why it's so wrong for leftists to be sharing this song, to be streaming this song, to be dancing to it in the wake of Charlie Kirk's assassination, I want to talk about one more connection that this fictional story has to what's happening in this modern day and age. Now, the Wicked Witch of the West, Elphaba, spends a long time in this book Wicked, in the movie Wicked, at university. And what she uncovers at this university is that there is a massive plot that the government and the higher education system is involved in to silence a particular group of people. Now, in the fictional story, this group or species is animals. There are animals living in this world who can speak and who are working at the university and teaching and educating themselves. And the government is working to completely silence them, to completely take away their voices. Does that sound at all similar to anything that's happening in the modern world that we are living in right now? And if not, let me read you some facts. Okay, so Harvard University, one of the greatest universities known to man, let alone known in the United States, is actually ranked last in their free speech ranking. So this university that everybody and their brother, mother, and sister wants to go to is ranked last for free speech. Here's another fact. Most US college students oppose letting controversial speakers on campus. And we can obviously see how that attaches to the Charlie Kirk story. Another fact, only 20% of university faculty say that a conservative would fit well in their department, meaning 80% are saying that they are not welcoming to conservatives in their department and that they do not work well with conservatives in their department. Think about that. 80-20 split on that. And lastly, a study finds that nearly 90% of students fake progressive views to appease liberal professors on college campuses. 90%. So we have the animals of Wicked who are being oppressed by this government, this regime, and by the higher education system, who are having their voices stripped away. And do those animals at all sound like what conservative students are being treated like on university campuses? What Charlie Kirk has experienced as being a controversial speaker on a university campus? And when Elphaba, the Wicked Witch of the West, uncovers this massive plot, she attempts to not only speak to the animals, but to fight on their behalf so that they have a voice on these campuses, so that they have a voice in the world. And then, of course, she is labeled the Wicked Witch of the West. She has the water thrown upon her and her life is taken. And then we cycle all the way back to No One Mourns the Wicked, where everybody is dancing, singing, and celebrating in the streets that the Wicked Witch of the West, who is advocating for the voices of the voiceless, was killed. Need I say more? I think I rest my case, the case that nobody needed, asked for, wanted, but I feel like directly applies to the situation and is worth talking about. And maybe if we cannot talk about these issues on their face, and if left-leaning people who are celebrating this shut down when the name Charlie Kirk is even brought to the conversation, or already displaying a form of hatred towards him, maybe talking about this fictional story that has resonated with so many people will awaken some reasoning behind what we're dealing with, will awaken a new response, a new perspective to what we're dealing with right now. And one more time, I will finally say, if you're celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk, I urge you to analyze the situation, maybe look from a different perspective, look internally, but also look outwardly at what you're pushing out into the world, because it is, in my opinion, a form of wickedness. And especially if you are sharing the phrase, the song, "No one mourns the wicked," you are in fact indicting yourself. Guys, drop your thoughts on this in the comments down below. I'd love to hear from you guys. As always, if you disagree with anything I said in this video, do get out, but do so respectfully. I encourage healthy debate on this channel. And if you like this video, like, subscribe, click the notification bell to be notified every single time I post a video for you guys, which is every day. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.
Yeah, you better.